The lower two runners also pretty decent. Like Maligord, you guys know Maligord. At least you and I should, because we see him all the time in those weird entrance shuffle races we tend to do. He likes to do lots of different categories. And Zarby, of course, is part of the development team, so he knows a lot about this game as well.
Yeah, having a 1-2 record is a lot about luck of the draw for opponents, too. It's not necessarily telling of your skill level either.
Yeah, so not a huge amount of action in the first few chests. We had 10 arrows in Link's house, 50 rupees in Sanctuary.
Well, we have a nice bomb drop for the first tree pull. Interesting that nobody's doing Houlihan, which is my favorite opening for Keysanity.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hopefully they'll run into some rupees along the way to make up for not doing it. And we have the Pod Big Key to start with.
Yeah, Pod Big Key is a pretty big deal. Now, Zarby's actually going to the south end of Kakariko first. Oh! Were those the silver arrows on the race game? Looked like silver arrows to me.
Maybe not, because he's skipping them. I did see
Maybe
an
he just
interesting...
doesn't want to do silvers.
I did see an interesting thing in the lumberjack tree. It looked like a big key.
Oh. Yeah, that could be a huge deal.
Yeah, granted it might be a big key they don't need, but the odds are not in their favor for that.
Yeah, there are two big keys that are not required at all by the logic. And there's the mirror in the thieves' hideout. And also there's one big key that is required by the logic, but not required by the runners.
Yeah, it might have a lot to... we might have to see what the pendants are to get a better idea of what our chances are of that key being required.
Indeed. So it looks like we are now joined by our second tracker. So we've got two trackers right now. We've got Dragon Strike 1988 and Zelnus, and thank you so much for providing your services, making sure that we know what's going on.
Alright, we've got the Cane of Samaria in Blind Sut and a key to Dark Palace. There's 6 of those. The more you have before you go to Dark Palace, the better.
I'm also told that, you know, if you pay attention, you may realize that it might be required to be Cane. Just throwing that out there.
I have heard that rumor.
Yeah, so we've got a small key to Pod, we've got a small key to Ice Palace, which that does indicate that Ice Palace might be a little earlier on, because the Cane of Samaria is basically a second key to Ice Palace in the logic.
Yeah, and those two together can indicate that they want you to go there. We also had another pod key in the well there, so that's 2. And again, the more pod keys, the better. It's not unusual to see a lot of them early since there are so many of them.
Yep, yesterday's race that I was in had 5 of them, very early, and the Titan's mitts were in the dark maze. So,
ooh, we have boots on the bottle vendor. That is a very nice early find.
yeah, so if you like to go fast, this is it right here.
I think we would definitely all prefer to get the boots as early as possible. Walking all over Hyrule, it loses its charm after a couple hours.
I'm basically the only person in the world who doesn't like to see early boots, but that's only because I'm bad at using them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. I've seen some people that can just cut corners like crazy, but and be like really effective with this.
Yep, Zarby is in fact playing with the Headless Link sprite, which is fun. Turns out it's actually a really easy sprite to make.
Alright, so it looks like everybody's about done cleaning up Kakariko. I wonder where we're going to go next. I'm always a big fan of going to Eastern early on. I don't know about any of these guys.
Yeah, so the Eastern area in Keysanity especially seems to have a little bit of a higher value because there's more stuff that can be there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, those infamous Sphere Zero locations that you don't need any items to obtain, so they have the possibility of being just about anything.
Yeah. And the way the logic works, it goes through and it sort of... Yeah, those are the silvers on the race game, and Zarby just said no.
That's interesting. Maybe he's gonna come back later? I don't know.
I doubt it. I think he just wants to do silverless. Seems fine with me. There might be a gentleman's agreement between Maligord and Zarby to skip silvers, for all I know. We've seen this before.
Got the power glove at the dam, so that's one piece of our Dark World access.
Very nice. But yeah, the logic just kind of fills the items, assuming you have all that hasn't been placed, and later in the algorithm, a lot of the places become inaccessible without the items that are available, but the Sphere Zero locations never do. So just in general, those locations tend to have a higher concentration of progression. Also, that was our third pod key in the dam.
Maligord did a nice job bombing those mini Moldorms, and he gets rewarded with the Desert Big Key and the bow.
Wow, so we've got archery, and we've got access to Land Molus in the big chest. Though the logic wants you to have the small key as well to get to Land Molus, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, so bow and 3 pod keys. The seed is telling them a story, and the story's point is go to pod.
There is that. Interestingly enough, when you have both the bow and the hammer, the chests that normally require 3 keys require 4 in pod.
That's interesting. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, because you could technically go to Helmasaur.
Ah, that makes sense.
Or you could waste your key on that anyway.
Yeah, pod key logic is pretty intricate and headache-inducing sometimes.
Yeah, that's why most people ignore it.
Yeah, I just go and do as much as I can and don't go to the boss until I'm sure that it's not going to hurt me.
Right. And one way you can make sure that it's not going to hurt you is to trick. So if you can avoid spending a key to get to the dark maze, you will never lock yourself out.
Yeah, I'm still working on learning that trick, and when I say working on learning it, I mean I haven't started yet, so I need to.
Oh, okay.
We have Swamp Palace as our green pendant, according to our buddy Sahasrala over here. And in his closet, we have the mitts. Okay.
Also, the very first chest in the basement of Hyrule Castle turns out to be the Moon Pearl.
Well, that's our collective Dark World access pretty early on there.
Yeah, green pendant was Swamp Palace. So there we go.
And Zarby continuing on down here in the castle, the interesting thing about this is not actually in the logic without the Hyrule Castle small key because of key choice situations. You could lock yourself out if you do, like, you know, the worst thing ever and go unlock the wrong door, which nobody would, but they have to account for it.
Right. I really like the what Zarby did in the other room with the green guard. He dropped the bomb and then stood in the location that made it look like Link's head was the bomb.
Oh, I missed that. That's pretty funny. Maligord gonna dip right into Eastern Palace and finds the fire rod, so immediate payoff there.
All right.
This is why you always do Eastern early.
Yeah, it's got 3 of those Sphere Zero locations, and you can like check one more thing. Usually, with that whole dark room thing.
Yeah, Eastern Palace dark rooms are fairly easy, no matter what your skill level is.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
Never mind. The lamp in the right side chest. I think the compass is in there in the normal game or something. No, it's the map.
Yeah, the compass is the one he said.
Compass is the other one.
That's the dream right there, though. The lamp, like, just sitting there in Eastern right before you get to the dark room.
Yeah, so now that dark room chest is in the logic, and you're like, oh, I probably should go there.
Mentos going to check out the bottom of Escape here with his power glove, and we're going to get a compass, a sword, and a small key to Turtle Rock.
Nice. So the first sword has been found. One thing that I was really worried about there. So Maligord opened the chest, found a big key. I was like, oh, is this going to be vanilla big key? That'd be so awesome. But no, it was Tower of Hera.
We should be so lucky. But the mirror and the lamp and the gloves, that's Hera's actually in the logic right now, like defeating it. And speaking of the lamp, we see someone doing the dark room in the sewers without the lamp. It's actually in the logic. He doesn't know it, but he's just going to go ahead and get it out of the way while he's here.
He was using some silver arrows. Well, the only arrow... Well, he was using arrows, basically. It was kind of a coincidence that they were silver. But to navigate and find the chest, he literally shot the chest.
Yeah, that's not one I would have thought of doing myself, but I also don't do the sewers dark room that often, if I can help it.
Alright, so just a big 20 in the vanilla big key chest for Eastern Palace. So the Bonk Rocks held a small key to Skull Woods. Not counting the guaranteed key, there are 3 keys to Skull Woods. Or, no, counting the guaranteed key, there are 3 keys to Skull Woods in chess. And the logic wants you to have all of them for Mothula. But you don't have to. The thing is, if you find both of them, you're like, oh, I better go kill Mothula.
Yeah, that's one of those logic things that if you know what the logic is asking for, you can maybe get a picture of, well, maybe I should do this dungeon because, it's probably a crystal if you don't have the map yet. Then again, it could just be directing you there because it wants you to pick up, a pod key or something.
Yeah, there's no guarantees on that, but it does occasionally, like, you can still have, like, both Skull Woods keys show up and then not really need to kill Mothula, but it's much rarer occasion.
So far we're not... Oh, looks like Maligord is going to go up the mountain. His pearl is waiting for him at the castle, but he has all the pieces to go up and defeat Hera. So he might be thinking to himself, that seems like a logical place to put the pearl. And he's just going to go up here and check all that.
Yeah, if he finds, say, the hammer or the hook shot up here, it's going to be a little unfortunate, because then he could have checked, like, the Dark World areas as well. Especially the hook shot. Oh, and Maligord getting dead rocked.
Looks like Zarby's going to fake flipper to the hobo for us, and probably take it all the way to the waterfall ferry at least, and see what's on the Zora ledge. He doesn't have any money to speak of right now, so he can't actually buy the Zora item.
Yeah, lack of money is a problem, which you know, goes back to that Houlihan opening we were talking about.
Yeah, 97 rubies is pretty low amount to have right now. Although looks like someone only has 20.
Who has 20? No, sorry, I'm not gonna do that again.
Right, this is gonna be. I feel weird every time I say anything about it. Like, oh, someone has found this.
It's like there's a real potential for a who's on first routine here, but it's just no. Trolliest vanilla item in Keysanity. Against our big key? Sorry. Swamp small key, yeah, that's definitely true.
Are we going like full vanilla? Because I would say hammer, maybe?
It's potentially, yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to call. Like, anything vanilla can really just throw your game off, especially if it's a major item.
Agate Tower Key is also very good. Vanilla troll.
Yeah, I've had that happen once. The second tower key was just sitting up there in the tower.
So Zarby just angered Zora for a second.
Oh, he forgot he didn't have money, apparently. Either that or you just wanted to chat with the guy.
Yeah, could be.
It looks like Mentos is joining Maligord here in Hera. Don't think we found anything too interesting in here yet.
Well, there was a hook shot. Apparently.
Oh, there was a hook shot, apparently. Oh, yeah. I guess I should pay a little closer attention.
So the fun thing about the hook shot is, even though they won't be able to check all the Dark World stuff, they could at least check the Super Bunny Cave, which is where it gets its name.
Yeah, that's funny you called that one. If they find the hookshot or the hammer, they're gonna, but they won't have the ability to look at the Dark World items over there. Be interesting to see if either one of them goes for the Super Bunny glitch.
Yep. It requires absolutely no setup at all. It's great.
Meanwhile, Moldorm drops the big key to Ice Palace, so that's not strictly necessary, but it's very nice to have when you go into Ice Palace, so that you don't leave that big chest behind and potentially have to drop back in there just for that one thing.
Someone's using that Dark World access to access the Dark World. I know, right? What an amazing concept.
And dipping right into Skull Woods, which is a good early check. There's 6 items in here. I think you can get 5 items. Because one of them is a guaranteed key.
Yeah. Well, and he's got the fire rod and a sword, so he could go to the back and get the other 2.
Oh, that is true. He's got a decent amount of hearts.
Oh, but he doesn't have the big key, so he can't get the big key chest either. So 6 total.
Right. He's got a decent amount of hearts to start with, and I don't know, he's 3-0, so he's probably a lot better than me at, say, killing Mothula with the low equipment.
Yeah, Mothula is a frightening possibility with decent equipment. With this equipment, it makes me want to cry.
Got Maligord and Paradox. Nothing much in the first 2 chests. Got 5 more possibilities here, though.
Someone just blazing through that Gibdo room. The silver arrows help.
Oh, we have the flute and the small Tower of Hera key on this side of the mountain, which is kind of trolly. And also, we found the other Skull Woods key, which puts Mothula in the logic.
Oh yeah, so I might expect something important to be on Mothula.
That Tower of Hera small key is pretty annoying, though. Because they already went to Hera, and now they might just decide to go back. Just got bombs on the floating island, so that's something they can put out of their mind.
And so Maligord's checking the spiral cave. Someone is checking the first chest in the back of Skull Woods, and oh no, he's not gonna try Mothula right now.
Guess he wants to wait for some better equipment, and I can't really blame him.
Yeah, I would too. No, I'm not a fan.
Looks like Maligord is gonna do the Super Bunny.
Oh, was that what was in the vanilla big key chest?
Or he forgot that he had the pearl. Didn't have the pearl. Never mind. And Zarby is going back for the silver arrow, so I guess he just decided to put it off until a random time. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I think the thing was when he did that, he had one bomb from the south of the grove, and he wanted to use that to farm more bombs in the bottom left corner hut.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We found a medallion on the bumper ledge. Quake, maybe? I didn't catch it. It was a little fast.
Interesting. There's a small key to Turtle Rock in the sea house.
Oh, Big Dunka in chat shouting out that they got the GT Big Key. Someone got the GT Big Key.
Oh, second chest in Skull Woods. Okay. Yeah.
It's hard to catch all four of these screens at once when they're in a lot of different places. Thanks for the pointing that out, Big Dunka. Zarby is about to get his Dark World access, and someone is here cleaning out the village of outcasts. mentosman is heading towards his flute. Oh, we're getting a sick kid check. And half magic, that's pretty nice.
Very nice. I guess there was some sort of weird enchantment that caused his ailment.
And someone's going to go ahead and dip into Thieves Town. These first four chests are... it's basically good to just consider them overworld. And just check them while you're in the area. Getting the cane of Brian for his trouble for the first chest. Meanwhile, Maligord is suspecting the checkerboard cave for his pearl, which...
Oh! There's the Swamp Palace small key in Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's another nice find. Something to get out of the way. If they get the flippers, then they can go ahead and, well, at least get the first couple chests.
Yeah, we still need to find hammer, flippers, and also care to go into swamp.
It has been known to have progress in the first couple chests that lead you to something else. Say the hammer, for instance. I wouldn't know anything about this. It definitely didn't happen to me twice in the tournament so far.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
So Maligord is looking all over for this this moon pearl. He's got to get himself over to Eastern Palace, but he's knocking out a few checks on the way, so
Hyrule
save him a
Castle.
little time later. Oh, Hyrule Castle. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting my dungeons confused.
Yeah, they're basically the same.
You do them both like right away with no equipment. You know, they're totally interchangeable.
Yeah, so the Moon Pearl was the first chest in the basement of Hyrule Castle. Alright, Mentosman is doing the Super Bunny Cave check. Just 20 and a piece of heart, so nothing really important there. I think Mentos will be checking the Turtle Rock Medallion. Is the next thing he's doing?
Meanwhile, Maligord is.
I did not check that. I did not see that.
Yeah, I didn't quite check. I didn't quite catch it either. So I was watching Maligord go into deserts, and he picked up a big key on a ledge. I'm trying to see which one it was.
I was looking right at it, and I still didn't see it because it was so fast.
He got the big key to Thieves Town on the ledge.
Ooh, Thieves Town. We're seeing... Some people are saying Quake, some people are saying Bombos.
Okay, so it's not just your eyes. It was a really quick check. And
yeah, the Thieves Town big key is kind of a big deal. And since Maligord hasn't even been to Thieves Town yet, that's going to be, you know, allow him to clear that out a lot quicker.
Yeah, of course, without the small key, sometimes you want to hold off on that because that could lead to one of those uncomfortable double dips. Now, mentosman, meanwhile, he took this Tower of Hera key and went straight back to Tower of Hera, which I don't blame him for at all.
Okay, so looks like Bombos is the call for Turtle Rock, and that means both dungeons require Bombos today. And, you know, in theory, you could use Bombos for a third dungeon as well, but we've got the Fire Rod, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the third dungeon that we actually have both small keys for, I believe. At least somebody does. So it was one of them in the purple chest. So that logic is hinting pretty hard there.
We also got the big key for Ice Palace as well. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, the Tower of Hera was a bust. Mentos is about to check out King's Tomb for us, and Maligord, meanwhile, just going straight back to Mothula, or Lanmos, I mean.
Up there's the fourth pod key, and the Hyrule Castle small key. And also, we had, I believe, a mail upgrade here in Pod. I mean, Hype Cave.
Yeah, it looks like. King's Tomb wasn't anything for Mentosman.
Alright, so 5 and 6 are Ice Palace and Thieves Town.
Well, that explains all those keys.
Yeah, if I found the Thieves Town small key, I'd have a very strong suspicion that that the Pyramid Fairy had something.
Yeah, I'm wondering who's going to be the first one to hit Pod up, because we do have quite a bit of access to that.
Yeah. The only thing we're missing really is a hammer. And of course, you know it's going to be over on the Bowlock section, right?
We can dream. Meanwhile, Mentos and Maligord are still having no luck with this pearl. They're both Mentos is right on Maligord's heels with this whole desert check. He can fully complete it. So, well, minus the right side. So not a bad check, but they're eventually going to run out of spots and have to go to the castle to get their pearl. And it looks like Maligord is heading that way right now.
Yep. And mentosman actually did the real Super Bunny glitch, the one that requires some setup, mirroring on the frame that you enter a thing to get the 2 items in Mire Shed.
Yeah, I'm no good at the timing on that. I haven't managed to pull that off. I don't know if I just don't understand it well enough, or if I just have, terrible timing.
Well, I can't ever get it the first time because, just walking in. But if you let go of the controller as you walk out, and then just treat the up button and the Y button like you're trying to hook dash, just push them at the exact same time, you're good.
I'll have to try that. Alright, so Maligord's almost got his Dark World access. Mentos is gonna clean out Desert of what he can get, and he will get his pendant from the Landmos. Which is not what you want to see for your, early, for a dungeon when you clear it early, but, Keysanity, it tends to happen that you get at least one pendant somewhere in your early game without knowing that it's a pendant ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you have everything to clear out the dungeon and the fact that it's available usually means you'll clear it even without knowing what it is.
Alright, we had Zarby do the Graveyard Ledge, or he's in the Graveyard Ledge area. Looks like he went into King's Tomb first, and I guess he's about to go to Graveyard Ledge.
So I'm not gonna lie, I would be tempted if I were someone to, once I get this Ice Palace big key from Moldorm, I would be tempted to fake flipper into ice at some point.
Yeah, with all the keys, it's not a terrible play. I don't know if he realizes it's a crystal, but even
I know we don't have the hammer, so that would not be the best idea, but it's not the worst idea.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a few items. And hammer has been known to be an Ice Palace occasionally. But I don't know. I would probably go to Pod sometime soon.
Pod seems better. Now, someone is going to have the fortunate distinction of actually being able to check the Hookshot Cave while he's up here. Alright, so Landmo goes down, drops the pendant, drops that Eastern Palace map, which we then find out is a crystal. We are unaware of the status of Pod, Mire, Turtle Rock, and Skull Woods. I would bet a decent amount of money that Skull Woods is a crystal.
Yeah, we actually had two runners go into Skull Woods and go to the back and not go after Mothula. I guess nobody's really feeling that fight right now.
Well, Zarby actually couldn't. He didn't have a sword.
Oh, that's a good
at
point.
the time. Zarby's sprite is Headless Link.
Looks like you'll have to take your bet back because Skullwoods is a red pendant.
Well then. Well, now we know where all the crystals are.
Interesting that we have so much access to that red pendant.
Yep. So maybe it's like the flippers on Mothula or something. Well, speaking of that fake flipper, he's not going to ice, but
we actually have
a fake flipper over there on Mentos.
Once we have the hammer, we actually have full access to every pendant logically, which is interesting. Oh, and the flippers, of course.
Yeah. We could see some dumb things like ice rod there, or something else.
Keysanity. It's got to be a key, right?
Yeah. There's that, like, Turtle Rock big key.
Could be something silly like a small pod key that you wouldn't necessarily want to go for, too.
Yeah, that would be one of those situations where you're like, man, I should have learned the hammer yump.
Alright, Mentos actually has the money to get the Zora item, so he still hasn't gone to the castle to get his pearl. I've been known to do this every once in a while, just like do everything in the world, and then go to the castle last in case I get access to Aga Tower or something like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. I know this is somewhat motivated by the fact that they, of course, went to the uncle first, which means they don't want to have to go back there. You know, I think if I was going to do uncle first, what I might do is just grab that first chest in the basement, because that's the one that's in the logic, and the other two aren't.
Yeah, that actually, and you don't need to kill anything to get that chest, so that's actually not the worst plan at all. That's pretty good.
And normally I do the Houlihan opening, so it doesn't really matter to me. Maligord also electing to skip out on Mothula, which makes sense once we know that it's a pendant.
Oh, there's the ice rod.
There's the ice rod in the hookshot cave. And another sword. So we go to Master Sword.
Yeah, they actually, I think somebody found the castle tower key, or the Hyrule Castle tower key already, Ultima. But until you find that Hyrule Castle key, the bottom two chests are not in the logic for the Hyrule Castle.
Ooh, there's the Eastern Palace big key in the digging game.
Alright, so
now it's go to Dark World, go to Pod, mirror to the Light World, finish Eastern, then go to Pod.
Yeah, that would be a pretty nice way to go about it. So what are we left with for big keys? We have Misery Mire, Turtle Rock, Swamp Skull, and I guess that's it. So those are our possibilities for the key on the Lumberjack Ledge, and what is that, about a 50-50 they don't need it?
Yep, seems about right. I think when you factor in some of the other items we found, the probability actually changes, but for the most part, it feels like 50-50.
They haven't actually found any of the Castle Tower keys, too, so it's not much of a concern unless those start to pop up. They can safely ignore it, and since it's not the GT big key, you know, I mean, that's probably like they're just not gonna worry about it until they start seeing those keys.
Right. That's really the crux of the matter, the sort of thing that makes you think maybe not. And someone is going to take that Hera small key back to Hera.
Okay, so there was a pod key in the Graveyard Ledge, and is that five altogether? Yeah, I don't think anybody has all 5, but I think we've seen 5.
Wow, that's big. So I would expect something in either the Dark Maze or the vanilla big key chest or the Harmless Hellway at this point.
This one I wouldn't be surprised to see Hammer just like deep in pod.
Oh, vanilla hammer. That is on the table at this point. Vanilla hammer in the logic is on the table at this point.
Alright, someone's not going to be very happy with what they find in this chest. There's the GT big key for Mentos. So we're getting a lot of treading over the same ground here. Somebody's got to go to pod and satisfy our curiosity here.
I was thinking someone was about to be disappointed, but he didn't go into Spike Cave. Now, here in a second, I'm going to have to ask that you indulge me for a minute, because it's about to be Swag Duck time.
Take it away, Bob.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, would everyone please rise for the presentation of our national colors. When the races begin, you don't know who will win, and there's no way to see what each chest holds. But like taxes and death, there's just one thing left that is certain to be: there will be trolls.
Good job on that one. You have the best songs.
I have songs. All right. So
You know,
with that,
you know what we have been, I think, missing in this equation is that it is hard to get to pod without the flippers or the hammer.
there is that.
We're so excited about all these pod keys. We're just like, go to pod, and it's like, oh, yeah, it might be a little hard to do that right now.
Yeah.
It's okay. We've definitely played this game before.
Yeah, clearly. How about 2 vanilla Aga Tower keys?
That actually is on the table to go check at least with the Master Sword. The first chest anyway.
So mentosman is the first of our runners to sort of brave the Mothula fight, and someone is now going there as well, having acquired the Master Sword, so it's going to be a little easier for someone. He's also got the half magic, which is going to make this sort of a trivial exercise.
Yeah, we're getting a double. Well, depending on how long it takes Mentos to get done here, we're gonna get a double Mothula fight.
Yeah, Mentos has the fighter sword, so any fire rod shot he manages to not land is going to be just that much more damage he has to do to Mothula with the fighter sword.
Meanwhile, Maligord has decided to go deep into
Nicely done for Mentos, man.
Oh, the flippers! Now we have that pod access.
What did I say? What did I say?
Both of them did a very nice job on that fight.
I said Mothula had the flippers.
Meanwhile, Maligord has decided to go deep into pod, or Thieves Town, I'm sorry, without the small key, so hopefully there's nothing in that chest that will come back to bite him.
Yep. The big chest, or the big key, technically only unlocks one thing by itself, which is the chest next to blind in the cell. Everything else has the potential to lock out without a certain key.
Yeah, now we can ask the runners, why aren't you going to pod? Because they have the flippers and they can actually get there.
I think they probably will be going to pod. Seems likely. I think someone's gonna check the graveyard ledge on the way and pick up that 5th pod key.
Yeah, and if that doesn't prompt them to go to pod, I don't know what will.
I kind of feel like he might head to Catfish while he's up here.
There's no better time to route that in than right now, so I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I don't know if he fake flippered, so he might do the Zora area too. Meanwhile, Maligord did not find anything in that one chest that this logic is unlocked right now, so we'll see if Blind has anything.
Yeah, so the big key on Lumberjack, in order for it to be required, will need to be either Turtle Rock or Misery Mire, or it could be one of the other two, and there'd be something required in one of those two big chests.
Maligord using some Kane of Samaria strats on Blind.
Samaria strats are the best.
Yeah, they're it's a good way to get some free hits in on Blind while you do your dodging of all these fireballs and floating heads. But he switches to Burno, which is also pretty free.
Yeah, Maligord is having none of Blind's sass right now.
Gets a crystal and not much else for his trouble, but getting a crystal is nice. Hopefully that big chest does not have anything he needs, or he could be putting that off for a long time. mentosman is dipping into pod for the first time, getting his swamp small key. We'll see if he goes any further, because I think he picked up that big key also.
Getting the Swamp Palace key in Thieves Town, and just probably he hasn't gotten the big key yet, has he? Yeah, he has. He has. So he'll probably finish it.
Yeah, someone did not fake flipper earlier, it looks like, so they're going to go ahead and take this out while they're here. Zarby decided to go to Eastern instead of pod, it looks like.
Yep. He of course has not defeated Mothula, so he doesn't have those flippers.
Right. I'm getting our runners confused.
But he is the one runner that does have the Eastern Palace big key from the digging game.
Yeah. Maligord has
Maligord just got it. Oh, what was Catfish? I missed it. Meyer big key?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's...
someone has Meyer big key marked.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That is definitely worth the trip over here.
Very nice.
And now he's going to go straight to pod from here. So yeah, he's feeling that all that access he has. He's going to go see about getting whatever pod is holding for him, which I don't know. I'm voting for Hammer.
No. See, Zoidberg just says, why not Zoidberg? But the person who says, why not both, is the little girl from the salsa commercial. And she says it in Spanish. She says, ¿Por qué no los dos? Sorry, that was me having a conversation with the chat, for those of you who are watching and not on Twitch at the moment.
Alright, someone's going to get our pyramid check out of the way on their way to pod. Let's see, they have the master sword, so they could mirror... Oh, yep, they're going to mirror to Aga Tower and check that first chest.
That is actually my favorite thing, is being able to mirror to Aga Tower.
My favorite thing is actually just mirroring and doing the entirety of Escape after you've already been playing for like 45 minutes. Not finding much for his trouble, but it's nice routing, though, on his part. mentosman about to get his crystal from Blind, and also, again, not much else. For Thieves Town was... what we could see of Thieves Town did not have much, at least in the back. Front had the Swamp Small Key, at least.
Yeah, and someone, I really like this, getting the mirror hobo check in.
Yeah, that's some pretty nice routing on his part. Being able to mirror in at these couple of spots and get the flipper stuff while you're getting stuff in the dark world. Just mirror makes routing in general like so much nicer. One time I found mirror like super early and I routed the entire world in a big loop, and most of light world was like on the table from like mirroring into it. It was pretty fun. I was able to combo the dam and swamp, if you could believe that, because the flippers were at the dam.
Beautiful. Alright, so finally, someone is heading over to Pod. Sadly, not having acquired the Eastern Palace Big Key from the digging game.
Yeah, it didn't look like Eastern Palace had too much in it though, so it's easy to run over here when you're ready to take care of it. So it won't hurt him too bad.
It's just nice to be able to take care of both at the same time.
Yeah, comboing Desert and Mire and Eastern and Pod, those are the things you want to be able to do in this game. And without the hammer, he's not going to be able to do the skips, so he's going to end up, unless the hammer is just on the right side here, which is, again, the dream, he's going to have to open the front door and waste a key, but I don't know, he's 3-0, he probably knows the hammer jump.
Yeah, I'm still pulling for vanilla hammer.
I don't know if it's going to be straight vanilla, but I think it's in the back somewhere. That's what I'm feeling here.
Unfortunately, hammer on Armos is not a thing because Zarby already finished Eastern.
Maligord's now that Maligord has his pearl, he's going to go ahead and check out the Dark Death Mountain area. And Zarby is doing the same.
Yep, they'll be happy to pick up that ice rod.
Yeah, that's an item that can be in so many places. It's very nice to just find it along your path. Meanwhile, Mentos is walking this purple chest back, going to get his second Ice Palace key.
Alright, so someone is heading to the back of Pod. We will see what we've got here. Using arrow strats on that second mini Helmasaur, that's my favorite way of dealing with that guy.
Yeah, just stick an arrow in his face and be done with it. Alright, so far not a lot in here at all. I don't think he did. Did he do the drop down chest? I don't think he did.
Not yet. I think he's coming back to it.
That's the one that's basically in the logic as soon as you have any keys.
Alright, so nothing from the Harmless Hellway. He's going to do the hammer jump. He's actually coming around to this side to do it, which is interesting. You can actually give yourself a lot more time by coming in from the other side. But a lot of people are used to it this way. You're going to need to drop that bomb soon. There we go. There it is. Nope, no vanilla hammer.
Well, we still have a couple of chests here for it to be in. Let's see what's coming up.
There's a Meyer small key, which largely irrelevant. There are 2 chests in Meyer that care about small keys, but you gotta have all 3 before it really matters. There's the powder, which is interesting, because if we see hammer at Magic Bat, that would just be dumb.
It would also be the almost what we said, just in a slightly more convoluted manner.
Yeah, super troll though. Because hammer at bat is actually something that a lot of people don't think is possible. I mean, it is possible. No, check the drop-down chest.
Yeah, I don't think he ever checked it.
He did not check that chest. That is a mistake I have made before. Don't do it. The hook shot was there when I did that.
And that one is like the one that's very much in the logic, like almost as soon as you get access to pod, like of any kind. Well, hopefully that wasn't the hammer or anything. I mean, we still have, assuming that wasn't the hammer that he just left behind, we still have the fun possibility of hammer and Ice Palace.
Yeah, I think that might be what he's trying to do here, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading that way.
We'll see what's on the island.
I was gonna say, I think somebody checked it earlier because they fake flippered, but he just did it blind. And he's not.
He never fake flippered. Oh, has he not been to the mire area? Maybe he hasn't been in the shed.
I don't think he came to the mire area at all, because I think the only people that went to mire and desert were the ones that were searching for the pearl earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Zarby right now.
Ooh, this sink in the bottom race.
Almost had triple sink on the mire shed there. They were all in there at the same time. Well, Mentos is making his way to Catfish and then probably to Pods, so I guess we will get a chance to see what was left behind there in a few minutes. And Maligord looks like he's having a little trouble figuring out where he wants to go, and it looks like he has settled on Ice Palace, I think. No, he doesn't have the flippers yet. So maybe he's just doing hobo and all that.
Alright, so someone's getting the Thieves Town big key.
Meanwhile, Mentos picked up his Mire big key from Catfish. And Zarby is going to the back of desert here to defeat the landmost for this pendant. Looks like everybody's going to have that pendant today.
Yep.
I'm just waiting in anticipation for Mentos to get to Pod so we can see what this drop-down chest was.
Yeah. So the way I would have routed that with 5 keys is I'd start off the way he did, check the left side, check the right side, then go in, get the vanilla big key chest, get the drop-down chest, then go to the back, so I wouldn't forget the drop-down chest.
Yeah, you have to loop the bow side a couple times when you don't have the hammer. Sometimes, but
I mean,
well, actually, no. I'm thinking of when you have the hammer. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So he had the mirror, and had to do the front door. So he actually had the easier route. I'm getting confused with hammer skipping the front door, which is the preferred way to route Pod and Keysanity.
Oh yeah. Now, when you have 5 keys, I prefer opening that front door and just doing the hammer jump anyway, just because it makes the routing so much faster to be able to go through the front door instead of having to go all the way around through the bow lock section several times.
While everybody is just sort of doing the same stuff, a shout out to our trackers, Dragon Strike and B-Links, who stepped in last minute to help us out here today. they're doing a pretty good job of keeping us informed on all the things that we are missing with our tunnel vision here.
You know what? So I gotta give someone some props on that that Lamola's fight. Just precision use of silver arrows.
Yeah, very nice fight. The silver arrows are so convenient for taking those guys out.
They can be a little tricky to use if you're not used to them, but
yeah, there's a definite timing to it.
But clearly, that is something that someone over there has down. I'm told that if we don't want to refer to him as someone, we can call him Phil.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. It does make it fun when you're talking
but
about...
I like the someone thing just because I like to refer to people by the names that they have on the screen, so people will know.
Looks like Zarby's in Thieves Town. Are they going to go to the back? Yep, they're going to go to the back with that big key. So everybody is just ignoring the fact that they don't have the small key for Thieves Town. So if it gets if it gets everybody, or anybody, it's going to get everybody, I guess.
Okay, so the drop-down chest is a small key to Turtle Rock,
which could actually still be important to have. So that's going to be... that could be an issue. Because, especially with it being the small key to Turtle Rock, that doesn't block anything.
You need at least 3 to kill it, or to beat it.
That doesn't block that much, so if they do need to get that one, if the 4th one isn't around somewhere, then that could screw them up for a while.
So now I'm thinking hammer at Magic Bat. That would be so good.
I'm starting to feel Ice Palace since Pod was out. Pod really didn't have anything for all that excess, except for the magic powder anyway. And so if that's unless that's something like really good.
Yeah, because my brain was sitting here thinking, oh well, 5 pod keys this early. There's got to be something in those 5 pod key locked locations, but apparently it's just the powder. So unless the powder leads to something important, then we're gonna have issues.
Yeah, we were getting 100% run on this Thieves Town without the small key, so troll incoming maybe? Everybody's just taking that bait. So one of our big questions is, where is the Bombos medallion? 'Cause that has a lot of stuff on lockdown as well. Hammer and Bombos medallion for a lot of access, because since Bombos is for both of our 2 dungeons there that are crystals.
Yeah, so we need the hammer and the Bombos medallion. We need the Turtle Rock big key. And I can't think of much else.
Yeah, the odds are better and better that they don't have to do AGA for that big key over there.
Hammer in the second chest of swamp would be the worst.
I'm still interested in the fact that if they get the hammer, they have full access to all the pendants.
Yeah, there is that possibility. Bombos on Pedestal is live, as is Turtle Rock Big Key.
I mean, at this point, there could even be an Aghanim small key on the pedestal that they would have to get if that was a Turtle Rock Big Key at the Lumberjack, for instance.
That's gross.
It has been known to happen.
The Aghanim's Tower key on pedestal, when you see that, it reads Aghanim halfway unlocked.
No books, so unfortunately we can't get that knowledge anytime soon.
Yep. We won't be able to find that out for a while. Yeah.
Alright, so who's going to be the first one into Ice Palace to get this hammer it's definitely there, I'm feeling it. I mean, if it were me, I'd check the powder first, because who wants to go to Ice Palace, but I feel like Ice Palace has got to happen soon.
I mean, I would not want to go into Ice Palace without the hammer. In fact, I would probably be more inclined to check the first 2 chests in Swamp without the hammer than I would Ice Palace. Because it's a faster check.
Yeah, it is definitely quicker, so I wouldn't be against that either. Especially because I had to, that whole thing that, with my stuff, my situations there in this tournament. Checking the first 2 chests of Swamp, I'm definitely okay with that strategy at this point.
Alright, here comes the Magic Bat check.
And we have simultaneous moth fights on the bottom.
It's the hammer!
Oh, man.
Yes!
So, Pod had something indeed.
In one of those locations. Oh, yeah.
That's
Feels
a fun one. That's a fun one right there. Okay, now Ice Palace.
Yeah, Ice Palace. Not close. Though actually, someone's gonna go finish Pod.
Also not the worst idea.
And Eastern, because he didn't have the Eastern Big Key, and now he does.
Man, that's something right there.
Yeah, see, a lot of people think that Hammer Bat is not a thing, and it is. And it's not locked by the logic right now because you have all the keys you need to get to the powder, and then some.
Ooh, Mentos is taking the Ice Palace bait without the hammer, and you did find the Turtle Rock key in there, so that's the 4th one. But he's going to find himself up against a wall before too long.
Hey, someone jump in this hole!
He didn't hear you. I don't think Mentos is going to be very happy when he figures out where the hammer is.
Well, let's hope that the Turtle Rock Big Key is not in its vanilla location.
Yeah, that would be...
That would troll the snot out of someone.
Really anything in that... Well, I'm not sure what much else could be in that location, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's Turtle Rock Big Key or bust.
Yeah, I think everything that we're missing is actually related to Turtle Rock access, so... So he might actually be... He might actually be safe, I'm not sure.
Mentos Man just found a Castle Tower small key.
Ooh, the plot thickens. Ooh, I just had an interesting thought that what if the vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock was a small castle tower key to get to Turtle Rock Big Key? I'm so mean, I should stop.
I mean, nope,
Well,
there's
never
Turtle
mind.
Rock. Alright, so we now know that Swamp Palace or the big key on the Lumberjack Cave is a red herring. Not necessary.
Unless it's Swamp Palace, their Skullwood's
Okay.
big key, and Bombos.
Yeah, there's that.
I'm just in a mean mood today. I don't know. I'm poor runners. Hopefully none of what I'm saying comes true.
Yeah, this is Recidador and his worst case scenario analysis.
I've been through the ringer here and there, so I'm always on the lookout for the worst way that this can go.
Did you ever play the worst case scenario, Plando?
I am not good enough for that.
Neither am I. It took me 19 hours.
I am not good enough for swordless on some days. There's no way I would do bomb vitreous. I mean, the small eye, sure, but the big one? No, hell no. Right? Oops. No, heck no.
And don't even get me started on Kane Mothula.
It was Kane Mothula?
Yes.
That's gross.
5 hearts, green male.
I didn't
Kane
even know you
Mothula.
could do that, actually. Well, we got Maligord doing the Swamp Palace check here for a couple chests. Don't think he hasn't been to pod, has he? And
yeah.
Zarby also taking the Ice Palace bait here.
Yeah, it's a hard bait not to take.
So far someone's got a pretty decent advantage for having found that hammer. And
Interestingly
I guess
enough,
it all depends on...
it looks like someone didn't bother checking the big chest.
That is interesting, because they
Maybe he thinks
shouldn't
he's
be
in
in
go mode.
I don't see how.
Not, because he doesn't have the Bombos medallion. He's gonna get to one of those dungeons and be like, oh, right, that thing. And that Bombos is still MIA.
Yeah, and Meyer and Turnrock being off the table, Swamp seems like a good spot for it.
There's also still several places in Ice Palace it could be.
Yeah, I mean, and also, of course, the ever-present pedestal. That could also be in the second chest of Aghanim's Tower.
Beautiful.
Or, you know, like we said, behind whatever big key's on the Lumberjack. That would be, like, the opposite of the dream.
Oh, there he goes. He's going back for the big chest.
I've done that every once in a while, like, but the worst is when it's like the big key chest and you forget that you haven't done it yet and you skip it, and then it's so out of the way.
Alright, so Mentosman did check the magic bat.
Now the question is, does he go straight back to ice? I would.
Yeah, so we did have a definite forced pod double dip here. You had to get the powder out of the dark maze so that you could get the hammer so you can go finish pod. I mean, okay, it might not be forced if we could find the mushroom somewhere.
Yeah, but that seems to be pretty MIA at this point too. They didn't have a lot left that they could check. I think everybody checked just about everything they could without the hammer.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, so both Someone and Mentos entering Ice Palace.
We have a quad dip of Ice Palace right now, and unfortunately 2 of them without the hammer, so they are going to get stopped sooner rather than later.
Now, someone is in a position where he's got the Cane of Samaria and he's got both Ice Palace small keys and the big key. This is a kind of scenario where you don't actually need to do the hammer, or not the hammer up, the Ice Palace bomb jump. Do you go ahead and do it? That's my question.
I wouldn't. Not with 2 keys. There's no real reason to at all. I mean, sometimes with 1 key in Samaria, you really don't need to do it.
All right, seems reasonable. So someone picks up his third Turtle Rock key, which is going to save him the grief of having to go down to the basement chest in Pod.
Yeah, that's really very fortunate for him that was available, and that everything that he's missing is related to Turtle Rock access. So he is unlikely to ever need that 4th key. It's all you can hope for when you miss something, is that you just get lucky and it doesn't matter.
I mean, it looks like to me that someone is setting up for the bomb jump, and Mentos did it anyway as well.
I mean, could just be automatic. They just don't even think about it. You know, oh, yeah. It's Ice Palace. I got a bomb jump.
Didn't look like there was any trouble there at all.
Alright, Zarby just picking up their Meyer big key, so that's good for them. Not sure where Maligord is going. Oh, I think he can't check the bat, so that's definitely not it. Smith maybe?
Perhaps.
Perhaps not. So the Hammerlock section of Ice does not appear to have anything very interesting, but we still have Cold Stare on the menu.
Yep.
I have no earthly idea where Maligord is going right now, unless he's going to pod like the bottom way, I guess, maybe. Yeah, I don't think this is... I think the top way might... I don't know, I guess it's a toss-up which one's faster. I feel like the top way might be slightly faster, but I don't know. Unless he might be checking this island too, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might be a little confused.
Going to Hobo on the way, I guess? Or no. No, I guess he's just going... This ramp is a little closer, so I guess he's just swimming all the way over.
Wait, Mentos never got the lamp?
That can't be right. He's been in Eastern. I think that...
Yeah.
I think he probably has it.
Yeah, it seems unlikely.
Yeah, he's got it. It just needs to be clicked on the tracker.
Sorry about that.
Alright, Mentosman taking on Cold Stare. Got one of the posts down. He's going to have to be a little bit careful. He's only got 4 hearts. No 1 heart. Oh, be careful. He's got both posts. Oh, yeah, he's got him down. Anywhere there for a second.
And of course, that ice falling from the ceiling could have also killed you, even after you beat Cold Stare. So that's very good that it didn't. So someone has finished clearing out that basic area.
So we seem to definitely be left with Swamp as our next play, because this Bombos tab medallion's got us locked out of 2 different dungeons here.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting Swamp is now accessible.
Of course, wait, no, is Meyer one of the 5-6, or is it, it's Ice and Thieves, right? It's hard to tell on there.
Yeah. Yeah,
so that's also a possibility.
Pyramid Fairy here.
I might do that before Swamp if it were me too, yeah. Looks like he's going to. And he can also check that last chest in the castle tower when he goes up there too. So, and then maybe he'll just run over to Pod and finish that.
Seems reasonable.
Meanwhile, Zarby and Maligord have finally made their way to Pod and are going to get that powder. And I think they've actually checked almost everything that's that's not hammer locked anyway, so they might not have any choice but to go straight to the powder when they find it. We have a nice cold stare fight from someone, and he is also probably going to do the pyramid fairy.
So the magic cape is the only thing that was found there. Wait, that wasn't the Bombos medallion on
pretty sure it was
Cave,
Quake
was
on
it?
the I'm pretty sure it was Quake on the Bumper Cave.
Okay.
So that's just a tease, really.
Someone's going directly for Swamp.
Yeah, more items there. Maybe he's feeling that Swamp small key they got relatively early. Oh, Mentos hadn't been into Aga Tower at all, so he had 2 chests up here to check, so yeah.
So if I were someone, I might skip left side. Maybe.
I'm scared. I'm a scaredy cat. I can't skip anything.
I'm just weird. I have a very strange criterion for wanting to skip left side.
Alright, Mentos is going to go defeat Pod, it looks like, and then he's going to be left with Swamp after that. So I think someone is probably going to be our first person with the Bombos medallion, which will put him in go mode, is that right? I think that might be
so.
go mode.
I mean, he may be inclined to locate an additional sword, but that's about it.
I don't know, he's already got silver, so the sword is kind of maybe check some chests on the way as you go, but not really worry about it. Of course, Bombos could not be in here and could just be on Sahasrahla, or again the pedestal. This is the 3rd pendant pickup, so I would imagine if it's not in here that he goes to Sahasrahla and then blind pulls the ped.
Yeah, he's gotten the other pendants just randomly, so why not?
Alright, Maligord and Zarby getting close to their powder. Maligord doing attempting to do the hammer up. And Zarby is about to do the same. Mentos on his way to Helmasaur King, and someone is getting deeper into Swamp and still not answering our question of where is this Bombos medallion?
Zarby pulling the hammer up, no problem. As is Maligord. They're both going to pick up those that powder, which will eventually lead them to the hammer.
I think sooner in their case, because I do believe they've checked just everything already. I don't think Maligord was happy about that. I think he was hoping for the hammer at this point, considering how much he's checked. Little does he know that he basically just found it.
Where is Zarby going?
To Helmasaur?
Without the hammer?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Maybe he thought he was going to Helmsor and realized that he couldn't. Could have just been a muscle memory thing.
Yeah, and left side swamp, complete bust. Just saying.
Yeah, but if someone didn't check it, the Bombos medallion would definitely be over there.
That's true.
That's how this works.
That's totally how all probability works. There's some sort of ghost in the machine that's designed to troll you.
Alright, they're both heading straight for that powder and for that hammer because they didn't have anything left to check. And I would imagine both of them going straight back to Ice Palace after this as well. mentosman has exhausted all his possibilities and knows that he's got to go to Swamp. So he's about to full clear this, and someone still hasn't found Bombos, so we're still trying to figure out where this is going to be.
There's a small key to desert. Wow.
Well, there's another possibility, and I just realized that the pedestal wasn't in the logic until now. Now it is in the logic. That was the last piece of the pedestal puzzle right there.
All right, so someone's going to be heading for Argus. We'll see if Bombos drops from Argus, or Sahasrara, or the silly pedestal.
If the next thing we find is a Castle Tower small key, that's going to be kind of funny. In a tragic kind of way.
Yeah, for some value of the word funny. As in, I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. And a silver arrow to Argus. It's Bombos!
Alright, so the troll wasn't as deep as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, still they got all the pendants.
The best kind of, pedestal C, the kind where you get all the pendants and you don't actually need, the pedestal or even... Well, what was it? Desert didn't have anything, right? So
yeah, you didn't need the desert pendant.
It's the best kind of pedestal seed. It's the fake one. But Go Mode Mire and Go Mode Turtle Rock is pretty nice. So all things considered, that is not the worst troll they could have experienced by any means. Go moding the 2 dungeons that are medallion locked. And Go Mode Turtle Rock and Go Mode Mire is a lot different prospect in Keysanity than it is in Open. So they don't have to open any chests at all. They can just walk by everything.
Yep. So in Mire, I'd be tempted in Mire to check the one chest on the bridge by hookshotting to it and then falling down. Just to see if I can get a tempered sword.
I would be tempted to check the big chest because the number of times I've seen a sword upgrade in the big chest has been pretty ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, it's not a small number.
mentosman is clearing out Swamp, so he's going to get his Bombos medallion here in a couple minutes. Zarby went to Ice right after the powder, which makes sense. That's what I would have expected, considering they're still missing stuff. Looks like Maligord chose to go after Helmsor.
Yeah, finishing off Turtle Rock.
Right now, someone is in the best position here. being in go mode, it's his race to lose on top. Bottom race, it's going to be a little harder to call who's ahead right now because they both got their hammer basically at the same time. And I think it'll depend on whether or not somebody chooses to go into swamp or chooses to exhaust every possibility like the top runners did. And I think that someone may check like some of the chests upstairs in GT, but on the off chance that there's a sword there. But for the most part, they have silvers, they have master swords, so they don't care. They're good.
Yeah, I don't see anything being checked that much.
I mean, you're 3-0. This race is pretty important for your continuing tournament standing. Being able to not have to go to the tiebreaker is the ideal situation to be in. So you don't want to waste too much time checking things.
Someone drops a B here because I think he's gonna like go grab some potions or something on the way up, and he wanted to make room.
Alright, Zarby's on cold stare. Running out of fire rod shots. Running pretty low on hearts. He's gonna have to be careful here. Gets one of them down. Two of them down. And there it is. Very nice. Meanwhile, Mentos is taking care of Argus. Gonna get his bombos and go into go mode.
Nice restraint on not stabbing that dead rock, which would have easily trolled you.
Yeah, the dead rocks are the worst. It's so easy to get them to like I don't want to say favorite, but you know, the worst one is like when you knock them into the cave and it's just like a hole in one and just they're like inside the cave door and you just can't get around them.
Yeah, it's basically the worst.
Looks like Zarby's gonna go ahead and do the Pyramid Fairy. So if Maligord skips that, well, he'll be able to catch up at least. They're still pretty even. Zarby's got to do pod. Maligord already did.
Yeah, that's the main difference between them right now.
So if Maligord skips the Pyramid Fairy and goes straight to Swamp, he will have a bit of a slight edge.
So now to enumerate my scrub strats for Go Mode Turtle Rock, assuming I'm still looking for like a sword. What I would do in this case, and this is just me because I'm bad, is I would actually go outside to set up a semi-safety door in case I screw up Trinex, and also check the big chest in the process, and then maybe the crystal roller room, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea to get an exit a little closer to the middle of the dungeon in case you die. Having to go all the way from the front is pretty annoying. Alright, Zarby's gonna go kill the Helmosaur. Maligord is getting closer to Cold Stare. Mentosman is doing his go mode mire and will be go moding Turtle Rock not too long after that.
And of course, someone had to go steal the key from the Pokey because someone forgot to jump in the hole in Pod.
Yeah, that's a slight time waste there, but they are far enough ahead that it's not going to hurt them, at least.
It's about the same amount of time waste to jump in the hole in Pod, but that's neither here nor there. Someone's not gonna check anything in Turtle Rock, which makes sense.
Yeah, I think he's feeling that 3-0 pressure. Does not want to give any kind of edge up and any kind of potential edge up by checking anything he doesn't need to.
Yeah, the only downside is Master Sword Ganon with the whole having to use spin strats. You know, with silvers it's a lot more tolerable, but it's still pretty slow compared to Tempered Sword Ganon.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but I feel like he's probably pretty comfortable with it, given his standing. Here's another thing that's takes a little bit of practice is hammer Trinex.
Oh yeah, I know all about that one being a problem.
Half magic at least makes it less likely to be a problem because you can miss a couple shots. It's a little more forgiving.
Yeah, and you can be very careful with the hammer shots if you press start right as you're doing the final hammer shot. You can switch to the fire rod before the explosions happen. It's very precise.
All right, gets through the first cycle pretty easy, and this part here shouldn't be too bad. This is fairly easy to take care of. Who I may have spoken to. Oh, there he goes.
There we go.
Had me worried for a second. Meanwhile, Cold Stare is down for Maligord, and Helm is down for Zarby, so what are they going to do next? Well, I think Zarby is pretty much left with Swamp. Is Maligord going to do the Pyramid Fairy, or is he going to go straight to Swamp?
Well, who knows? I'm like, either way, we're fluting to 4, so that's not gonna tell us anything.
Oh, Zarby's gonna go to the castle. So Maligord can definitely catch up here if he just skips straight to Swamp. Interesting that Zarby didn't do this when he was doing the Pyramid Fairy. Which it appears that Maligord is going to do. Someone is entering Ganon's Tower, and you know, if this were open, we'd be playing the Where's the Ganon's Tower Big Key game, but Ganon's Tower Big Key was in Skull Woods, so we don't have to worry about anything.
I guess second chest of Skull Woods. Well, guess what? You watch the VOD, so good for you.
Well, it looks like someone is going to check a couple easy chests here.
Hey, taking a move out of my playbook.
Oh, the luck.
Nice!
The luck. And he spent that key too, just said, screw it, I'm going to go check the torch.
Yeah, because when you have that extra key, you can just do that. I didn't even think about that. But yeah. Because last night in my race, I found the silvers there on that torch.
I'm never that lucky. What the heck?
But yeah, checking those 3 chests takes way less time than having Master Sword versus Tempered Sword on Ganon would take. So I like the move there.
Yeah, he just saved himself a lot of time. That was such a nice sword placement right there. Meanwhile, Mentos is going through Turtle Rock. We'll see if he makes a couple of the same checks there in Ganon's Tower. Zarby's going into Swamp, so he's got a slight lead on Maligord, I'd say.
Yeah, I will say someone did get pretty lucky in a couple of places here. He got that Tempered Sword off the torch. He got, you know, the other 3 Turtle Rock keys.
I mean, hey, that's all you can hope for sometimes, is to just get lucky.
Yeah, you didn't even have to stay up all night. Sorry. Not actually sorry. Anyway. Here's the expert silver arrow skills once again. I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, it can be a little tricky to get all 3 in this room, especially with that stupid Medusa firing a fireball at your face. Meanwhile, mentosman gets the first cycle of Trinex, so he should be on his way to Ganon's Tower very shortly. But will he do the checks for the sword?
So the full body of Trinex explodes, I believe, 57 times. So if you're sitting there counting, I count them in groups of 8. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And after the 7th one, I just release the sword.
Interesting. Maligord chose to do Spike Cave before going into Swamp, so they just put themselves even further behind Zarby.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that gap is getting kind of wide right now. And now I don't know where he's going.
Also, there is one thing, apparently, that Maligord does not have that everybody else does. And that's the big key to Misery Mire.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
That's a catfish.
Yeah, never mind. He's pretty... Yeah, Zarby is pretty comfortably in the lead right now, then. I didn't even realize that. Because he went the south route to go to Pod instead of the north route, which, yeah, that was not the route to take.
So the pedestal C, the pendants, not all of them had required items, but Desert was just available early, so most people did it. Mothula had the flippers, which was required, and Argus had Bombos, which was required. So there you go.
Apparently, the Skullwood's big key was somewhere that I missed, and it was nothing. Maligord just found nothing, and that makes the Swamp big key on the Lumberjack cave, I believe.
Yep.
All right, Maligord, you need to hang a left there and go to Catfish. Going the wrong way, man. Purple chest, maybe. It looks like he already did purple chest because he has 2 Ice Palace. Oh, he didn't do hammer pegs when he was here, huh?
Now we do note that mentosman is on his way up Ganon's Tower. He did not bother to check the torch, so he does not have the Tempered Sword.
Yeah, that's gonna widen the gap a little bit on their end too, because Tempered Sword makes a pretty good difference on Ganon. Oh, Skullwood's big key was Spike Cave apparently, so I guess Maligord was the only person to check that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, pay attention to these 2 Ganon fights, because this first Ganon fight is going to be just massively faster.
Okay, Maligord is heading towards Swamp, which is good, but also bad because that's going to take him away from the Mire Big Key. He might go into Turtle Rock. looking for the Mire Big Key. That's going to be a real problem.
Someone has already entered phase 3 of the Ganon fight.
Yeah, mentosman just getting out of the gauntlet. Zarby's almost to his bombos.
We got a torch glitch, we got 1 silver arrow already. Oh, gets the
Nice,
double.
Yeah, nice
I didn't
double.
realize you could get one from that spot.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
as long as
nice.
he doesn't hit the edge, when you hit him with the arrow, you got a little bit of leeway to get another one in there.
I guess it was just slightly to the left where you could pull it off, and there we go. Someone finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour 45 minutes and 33 seconds. Rather impressive.
Yeah, considering the some of the placements in this seed, yeah, pretty nice. A little worried for Maligord here. Gonna end up in Turtle Rock looking for the Mire Key, I think. But Zarby just went into go mode. Yeah, Quern, this is, someone is gonna be 4-0 now.
And we are now joined by our winner, someone3255. Hello, GG.
Hey, GG's.
Well played, sir. So I will have to apologize if you go back and watch the VOD that I was yelling at you for a bit.
Was it the Eastern Big Chest?
No, it was the basement and pod. The
Which
one that
chest?
you would fall to after the big key chest if you wanted to.
Yeah, you skipped that chest.
Oh, was that the chest next to the maiden?
No,
No.
in pod.
The one you push the
Yeah.
block and you fall down to, like you skipped
Yeah,
that
the
chest.
one there where there's a switch and the skeletons
Oh, that
appear
one.
around it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That one had the 4th Turtle Rock key in it, and I was like, I really hope there's nothing important in that big key chest in Turtle Rock. But yeah, you were fine there. Also,
Alright.
I really liked the checking those 3 spots in GT for the Tempered Sword, and you happened to nail it.
Yeah, I had an extra key, so might as well open the door. It's a little slightly faster.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could borrow some of your luck.
Yeah, the feed went really well for me. Everything just seemed to fall in place.
Yeah, we were a little scared at the time when you skipped that chest that it could be Hammer, but luckily it was just that last key, and since everything that you needed at that point was Turtle Rock access, you didn't need that key.
Yeah, the hammer was not kind to people this seed.
Yeah, you had double dip pod for that.
And it happened to be the trolley magic bat hammer, which is something that some people don't even believe is possible. You know?
Yeah.
So we have mentosman starting his Master Sword Ganon fight. So far, so good. He didn't choose to check anything for that extra sword.
Not even like validation chest.
Nope. He just zipped on through.
So, how's it feel to be 4-0?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah, we're gonna. So, at the very least, you've got that spot in the play-in race, and if you win your race next week, that puts you in the brackets. That seems pretty good to me.
Uh-huh. Still not out of it yet, but Well, I guess you're never really out of it.
Yeah. Unless you've got 2 losses like someone I know. But that's beside the point. So,
Don't talk about me like that, Bob.
no, I was talking about me. Also, I just realized I said 2 losses like someone, and then I realized who we were talking to.
Yeah.
And no, someone doesn't have 2 losses. He has no losses. I'm sorry, there's just so much potential for like the who's on first scenario here. And so it's just happening. Anyway, so yeah, mentosman pulling off the first 2 phases of the Ganon fight with Master Sword, significantly longer than Tempered Sword.
Looks like he's about to knock him down, though.
We learned that the Fire Rod is not the bow.
Alright, Zarby is about to go mode Turtle Rock. We're gonna have to see where Maligord goes after this. Ooh, mentosman gets the big pig down.
Well played to him. So someone, how do you feel about the decisions you made in this seed? Is there anything good or bad you thought you saw?
Well, so the flipper is on Mothula. I went there early to check the chest, but I wasn't sure I could defeat Mothula at that point. So after I went up the Death Mountain, I found the 2 Skullwoods keys, and that's when I thought, well, Mothula's now in Logic, so I might as well check that.
And luckily, before you left Death Mountain, you managed to find the Master Sword, which was going to make that fight a lot easier.
Yeah, and I had half magic at that point, so the fight shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Your opponent actually, at roughly the same time, did the single magic fighter sword version of that fight.
Oh, did he actually beat him on his first try? Nice.
Very well placed fire rod shots.
Alright, Maligord is doing what I was afraid he was going to do, and he's going to Turtle Rock to look for the Misery Mire Big Key. He's not going
that
to be
is
super
unfortunate.
Happy. Might find that 4th sword, never know.
Yeah, we may be able to find out where Butter is. And we are now joined by mentosman. Hey, GG.
Thanks, and GG to someone. It seems like it was a pretty good race, at least.
Oh yeah, it was a very good race. You know, the main difference there at the end was you both found, or you both got the hammer pretty close to each other. The real difference was someone went straight for Swamp, and you went for Fat Fairy and some other stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking of Swamp, but I felt like I wasted time double dipping ice and going into what was it? Oh yeah, and the death to Moldorm that somehow happened at the start there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did someone? I think someone might have been the only one that didn't double dip Ice Palace.
Yep, that is true.
So that would have been another difference.
Yeah, I was gonna head over there after checking the Batcave. But I guess sidetracked by crystals, so I guess that was a good thing.
Yeah, I think I was mostly down to either doing Batcave or Ice Palace, and I'm like, yeah, Ice Palace has like 5 chests I can check. Batcave is 1. It's probably an Ice Palace. Nope.
Well, there's the red mail. It's in, what's it called? The
Turtle Rock?
Turtle Rock first chest.
Yeah, we were feeling all that pod access and we were voting on the hammer actually being in pod, and then the only thing that we found was powder, and we were like, well, I mean, that's got to lead to something, right?
Yeah, that was what my brain was thinking. It was like, you found 5 pod keys this early, something's got to be important there. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's very likely.
Yeah. I also got flippers to access it.
Yeah, that was fun, in air quotes. The whole early Mothula requirement. That was an excellent Mothula fight from you, by the way, Mentos fan. Excellent Mothula fight.
I think that was legitimately the best Mothula fight I've ever done. I was real happy with that afterwards.
I mean, you had normal magic, fighter sword, and you pulled it out. It felt real good watching it.
Yeah, every time I try doing something like that, I always keep dying and then trying to go back and then die again. It's not a good time.
Yeah, it was a very close race, and it was very good. So someone did a very interesting play going into Ganon's tower. He actually checked the first two chests on the right and the torch by opening the door in the middle, and the torch had the tempered sword.
I was debating going to look for those chests, but since I had just practiced Master Sword Ganon before the race, I'm like, yeah, I can probably handle this.
Yeah, and you handled it just fine. It's just, you know, either way, with the tempered sword, it's going to be significantly faster. So, yeah, there was a little bit of fortunate scenario there, but yeah, you know, only about 5.5 minutes separating both of you guys, and that's you know, considering the variance that comes with Randomizer, especially Keysanity, that's pretty good, pretty close.
We got Zarby just entered Ganon's tower, and he is also going to skip any checks downstairs, so we'll see if he opens anything upstairs.
So we find another bottle there in the big key chest of Turtle Rock.
So overall, I think the seed was a little bit crazy with the hammer, but you guys lucked out being able to go mode Mire and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that was nice.
Go mode Turtle Rock is definitely the dream, or just not having to go inside at all if it's a pendant.
It was also pretty nice that Go Mode was an item for once, instead of just searching for that one key that can be literally anywhere.
Yeah, it was really funny, like, when you got down to the end, like, almost everything you were looking for that you were missing was Turtle Rock access related.
Yeah, we were really thinking that, you know, if Bombos wasn't on Argus, the next play was probably, you know, turn in green pendant and then blind pull pedestal.
Uh-huh. 2 extra items, not bad.
That was 100% my plan, in that exact order.
Oh, we just found the small key to Thieves Town in Mimic Cave, so I guess it's a good thing that didn't turn out to be anything.
Yep. The logic technically requires that. So if you're playing logic only, good luck.
I feel like playing logic only in Keysanity would be a little hard because of all the extra requirements. Like,
Was that the 6th pod key? I think it was the 6th pod key.
Yeah, I think so.
In the big chest of Thieves, Turtle Rock. So there you go. So yeah, definitely a good thing to know the hammer jump for this seed. Which all 4 of our runners did the hammer jump, so that was not a problem. So, someone, Mentos Man, an excellent job. Item collection rate very similar between you. You got 145 and 147. I think the difference there is Fat Fairy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, feel pretty good. Or it was a very good race. Anything else you guys want to say about the seed or about the tournament in general?
It's been a lot of fun so far, and hope to have more fun going forward.
Yeah, pretty much that. I know I came into this thing, my maximum potential was 3 and 2, and I expect to get that in the last week, so I've already exceeded what I expected. I'm just having fun with it now.
Very nice. And so Maligord doing the safety door and checking the laser bridge. There is the ether medallion and the book. Oh boy.
No, he's gonna go and check on the tablets. Poor Maligord.
Yeah, he hasn't been to Catfish. This is Maligord's problem.
I hope that he actually remembers that he hasn't been to Catfish, and it's just that he hasn't put it out of his mind. I mean, it is kind of out of the way. Like, other than going to Pod that first time, there was no good way to route Catfish in. No second sword, though, or third sword, though, or fourth sword, I guess, from our perspective.
Yeah. So I would expect the other one to be somewhere in Ganon's tower as well.
Well, we still got all the Mire chests that are not big key locks.
Could be in Mire.
I still vote for the Mire big chest. It likes to be there.
Yeah, it really does. If I had a dime for every time I've gotten Tempered Sword out of the Mire big chest, I'd have like a buck.
Shoutouts to Harbinger of Me for the $4.99 subscription.
Very nice. So, is there anything, Mentos or someone that you felt, is there anything that you thought was your favorite part of this seed or least favorite part of this seed?
I know, Flippers on Montula is pretty good.
I believe it. And that, you know, the getting the Mothula fight down with the level of equipment that was available wasn't a particularly great amount. I mean, you could have gotten the half magic and second sword at that point, but Tempered Sword Mothula was right out.
I think my favorite part was the very moment when I got the TR big key and realized that Aghanim wasn't required. That was pretty happy.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah, big key on the Lumberjack is not anything you ever want to see because you have to, like, discount the possibilities. I had that one time, and an hour and 40 minutes in was when I realized that I needed it.
There would have been this one weird scenario where Bombos was in the big chest of Swamp, and that would have been a problem, but no, it didn't happen. So you worked fine.
Yeah, my first seed in this tournament was Pedestal Skullwood's big key with Medallion for Mire in the big chest, so I was absolutely having that on my mind.
Gross.
So far, I've had 2 GT big key pendants and 2 go into Swamp second chest to get a progression item to get Hammer. There's been a lot of fun in this tournament.
I hear your air quotes.
Zarby's getting this Master Sword Ganon phase 2 so far. Went through the ferry, but as long as he's careful, he can go ahead and get through the rest of this. Ooh, I hope he has a second ferry or a potion.
He also has the cape from checking the Pyramid Fairy, so you can put that to good use if he so desires.
Yeah, Maligord just is not wanting to go to Catfish. He's about to go... I don't know what he's about to go to.
Right Side Desert?
Oh, Right Side Desert. Right, nobody checked that.
Yeah, so he's going to hit Right Side Desert. He might actually try to go into Mire looking for the big key there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely next on his agenda. And so he's just going to full clear the game.
We got a hundo on our hands here.
Zarby's doing a good job of not losing this last heart, but he's got me a little worried. I hope he has a fairy or a potion. Well, a fairy since he's not using a potion.
Oh,
Ooh. He does not. Ouch.
Zarby takes a death. That is unfortunate.
Well, the fortunate thing for him is that he is pretty far ahead at this point, so he can do this a few more times.
So I want to go ahead and congratulate once again both of our runners from the top race. You're welcome to hang around and, you know, make comments, observations, whatever. But if you'd like to take off, you can as well. We're going to go ahead and follow the other two racers as they go finish off this seed.
Yeah, chat. Well, Maligord didn't go to Catfish, which has the Meyer Big Key that he is missing right now and looking everywhere for. Everywhere, but unfortunately, Catfish.
Yeah, and Catfish has been known to troll people.
Yeah, it's one of those locations where if you don't find a way to route it in, like, somewhere, and you leave it, you're just never going to want to go there.
And especially if you're used to, like, open mode or standard mode where you basically avoid Catfish like the plague. Because it basically is the plague.
Zarby taking another death, unfortunately. If this goes on too long, he might be better off buying some potions and coming back. He's just gonna keep going at it. So props to him for just jumping right back into it. Me, I'd definitely be at the potion shop by now because I just don't trust myself enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just be like, yeah, we're just, you know, bite the bullet, take a little bit of a time loss, get some safeties.
Question in chat: how many deaths, Ganon deaths, can Zarby afford? Probably.
I'd say about 10.
Yeah, Maligord's pretty far behind, unfortunately, with that Meyer Big Key being missing. So Zarby definitely has time to go get some potions and come back. He doesn't know that, but he definitely has the time. Also, yeah, he hasn't used his cape too much, which is interesting. Oh, he's finally got phase 3 though. That's good. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to avoid damage from this point on. It's not guaranteed, but it's fairly easy. Now, the other problem is he's only got a little bit of magic, so he's going to want to make sure to get that torch glitch.
Yeah, I would hope that if he doesn't make it this time, that he goes and gets some potions. But he's got the lamps, so he's good. He can get a few extra, you know, lightings out of that. Gets the torch glitch, so that's good.
Barely missing that first silver. Gets the double.
Alright, one more.
And down goes Ganon.
GG to Zarby. Maligord, unfortunately, just found something that might lead him further astray. He just found the second castle tower key.
Gross.
I really hope that he remembers Catfish, because if your choice is Aghanim or Catfish, it's Catfish.
There's a vanilla small key for Meyer.
I don't think he checked the tablets yet either, did he? Did he check either of the tablets? And I missed it?
Don't believe so.
So he's looking at tablets, Catfish, and Aghanim for the Swamp Big Key. I really hope that Catfish is what he's thinking of right now. But it appears that he is thinking Aghanim. Unless he didn't check the second chest yet, he might be going after that key, which is a very, very unfortunate thing.
Oh, that's painful.
We are going to get our true 100%, it feels like, right now. Well, I mean, except for GTA.
Yeah, so the one on the top is, the one on the Lumberjack Cave is Swamp Palace Big Key. Because the Skull Woods one was in Spike Cave.
Yeah, he already found Skull Woods Big Key and went to Skull and found a big 20 for his trouble.
Well, we see Zarby in the chat with us. I don't think he's coming in for an interview, but maybe.
For chat, we said 4-0 because someone is now 4-0 after this win. It was 3-0 to start, so someone is 4-0 and Mentos is 3-1.
Alright, so Zarby finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours 9 minutes even, and manages to move to 2-2.
Considering that Maligord is doing Aghanim right now, I'm wondering if he has just completely forgotten that he didn't do Catfish yet.
Yeah, it is entirely possible.
Because with those two choices on the table, you do Catfish. Plus,
well, here's the thing. What's he looking for?
Oh, you're right.
He's looking for the Meyer Big Key, so he knows.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that Catfish is the Meyer Big Key. Catfish could be anything. It could even be a boat. But Maligord knows that the Lumberjack tree is a big key, so he's taking the shot that it's the one he's looking for.
That is a good point, but for me, if the choice is Aghanim or Catfish, I'd definitely go to I'd definitely do Aghanim last. But yeah, that is a good point. It's gonna be very disappointing when he gets done with this. Chat saying, yeah, he'll be close to Catfish when he gets done with Aga, but he's doing Aga so that he can go get the key from the Lumberjack tree, so he's not going to be close to Aga when he gets done with that. Yeah, he didn't do Catfish, Zarby.
Yeah. No Catfish for Maligord. That's the real problem.
Maligord actually went to Pod by going south and then jumping in the lake and going around that way instead of going north and doing Catfish and going down. Which has ultimately cost him quite a bit of time. Yeah, that probably is what he thinks at this point, that it's the Misery Mire key, but because he's only got the two choices left, and I mean, he found that other Castle Tower key.
He's going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, the question is, what will he do after that? Because he has the Swamp Big Chest, the 2 tablets, and Catfish.
I mean, I think at this point, if you've seen that many .duns, you have to assume it's something that was available early.
I would think so. but yeah, I mean, here we are.
So he could be like me and just not watch the chat while you're racing.
That is true. I always have it like off to the side.
Maligord is not happy. He's just kind of doing a double take. He's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. I don't know what he's gonna do right now.
Alright, so he's heading to the Dark World.
I think
Up
he's in the right spot that he needs to be. This is, well, I mean, as far as ways to get the catfish, there's not really a great one, so this is just as good as the other way, I think.
Yeah, this is basically the best way to catfish, so I think we're on the right track. Well...
Although, interestingly, he could pull...
Oh, he's doing
Thieves Town, Big Chest.
Big Chest.
Oh, no!
Oh.
I think he's forgotten catfish at this point. There's no way that he remembers that catfish is on the table if he's doing all this.
One thing I find interesting is that when you get a key in the Lumberjack Cave, the text box does not appear around the text.
Yeah, it's some kind of weird graphical glitch. So what else is on the table for him besides those? So we know he can do the tablets. He already did Right Side Desert. He's got this. He's now got the Swamp Big Chest, and I certainly hope he doesn't do that.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate as well.
And then I really think he's out of trolls. Pretty sure he got all the chests and pods.
So, Elminster, what happened was, Desert was just available early, so people just did it. And then, Mothula actually had the flippers, which were necessary to get to Pod. And, Argus had Bombos to get into Mire and Turtle Rock. So yeah, there were actually, things on 2 of the bosses, and the 3rd one was just convenient.
Well, we found Mirror Shield in Turtle Rock, or not Turtle Rock, Thieves Town. Maligord's thinking about what to do. You know, the interesting thing is, I don't think he pulled the pedestal, and he does have the capability of doing so. So I wonder if he's going to do that.
Well, there is that.
Looks like he's sort of thinking about what he has to check right now. And he's got like 4 things I think that he can do. And it looks like he is going to the Swamp Pig Chest.
Oh no. He might check Bombo's tablet while he's here.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So, yeah, maybe he'll do Bombo's tablet. I don't know. I feel like he's just gonna do everything though. I think he must have forgotten catfish. I mean, or maybe he'll do catfish after this. Who knows? Oh, somebody's saying he did check the pedestal. We must have missed it.
Yeah, I think he must have checked it with the book or something.
Everybody send Maligord your energy and think of fishes.
If he actually grabbed the pedestal item, he'd have a lot more money. So I think it was a 300.
Yeah, I agree that he probably would have done catfish if he actually remembered that it was a thing by now, but I guess he could just have a really, really big aversion to doing catfish for some reason. Maybe he hates fish.
Yeah. Some people are like actually physically afraid of catfish. Like that's a real thing.
Well, they are kind of ugly.
They're ugly. They got like whiskers that are poisonous and dangerous little things. Best big chest ever. The agate abated.
You know, despite all of this, we are still missing the shovel from our collection. And he won't get Quake because he doesn't need it, so...
So
Despite
he's
all
not
the checking...
bothering to check Bombo's tablet, it looks like.
Huh, that's interesting.
So maybe he's going to catfish.
Very interesting that he's putting off catfish this long and then just didn't check the Bombo's tablet while he was there. But it's what he needs to do, so hey.
Hey, I'm on board with this plan. Yeah, I think probably when he was down there, he was like, wait a minute. I never checked catfish. That was available so much earlier. Ah! That's basically the internal monologue.
I think the he's getting the bomb ready there.
Threw a bomb in first, just knowing this is gonna be it.
Oh, that hurts. He just bombed himself instead. Okay, I'm not sure where he's going right now because he needs to go to Meyer.
I think he's gonna do another bomb to catfish.
Oh, he just wants to disturb catfish again. Oh, I didn't even know that happened when you did catfish twice.
Neat.
Apparently catfish has a temper.
No, the torch had the temper.
Speaking of, I wonder if he's gonna check for tempered in the big chest.
Maybe. I doubt it.
I don't know if he's watching chat to know that his opponent already finished, but if he isn't, he probably feels behind anyway.
I imagine he probably knows.
Yeah, I think that he tends to want to keep IRC up. Nope, he's just going for it.
Yeah, it is always unfortunate when someone forgets things.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's just the life of a rando player.
Yeah. So, while we're on the subject of forgetting things, here's the best example I have, other than forgetting the hook shot and the drop down chest and pod. You know the Blind's hut, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the bomb chest up there. Have you ever bombed that hole and then not gone in to get the chest?
I have not ever done that.
Yeah. I
You
accidentally
want to
did that
know?
one time, and I left the silvers there.
Yeah, you know Paradox Cave?
Yeah.
You ever gone to Dark World with the intention of mirroring into Paradox Cave and then just not done that?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, been there. Also, alternatively, I have skipped Thieves' Hut twice that I know of. Once it held the Hera Big Key and the end of my dreams for that seed, and once I got lucky and it was just the silvers, which, you know, surprises me that I could even say that, but
Yeah. Alright, so Maligord finishes off Vitreous with very little effort. Silver Arrow machine gun. And that will be the 7th crystal. Finally gonna fly off to Ganon's tower.
will he check for a sword?
Who knows? I know that Maligord does like having better than Master Sword. So one of the things I can say for Maligord is he does not give up. He will play the most ridiculous modes you can throw at him. And
Shoutouts to Entrance.
yeah, shoutouts to Entrance, Keysanity, Randomizer.
Crossworlds, the new hot stuff.
Yeah, that's a fun thing.
I'm hoping
Also-
for some demos when that goes live.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Speaking of which, if you go to Hookshot Cave, you should probably check the other side of it.
Yeah. Those connectors will get you.
Anyway. Yeah, I imagine the daily races might return once the Keysanity Tournament is on a lower boil, like once it reaches the bracket stage. Because right now, we've got so much action to cover, we just don't have enough people to cover it all.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a few more dailies showcasing things like Entrance Shuffle. Yeah, Crossworlds is a new thing for version 29, where the connectors will take you between Light World and Dark World.
Yeah, and I think
And-
they patched out the fake Light and Dark World stuff, so that's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, they did, and in fact, you can be expected to find your Moon Pearl by going, say, to the Dark World as a bunny and mirroring into something. Like something more exotic than Mire. Like one time it was Mimic Cave. It's basically the new version of Full. It's not Madness. Madness decouples the entrances. They're not actually going to update that. It's just the new version of Full. And the best part about it, I think, my favorite part, is single entrances and multi entrances are now mixed together. So no more Dungeon Mountain.
I believe I am on board with that. So, looks like Maligord is going up Ganon's tower, not bothering to check the torch downstairs. So we're going to see another Master Sword fight. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, where, oh where is that last sword?
Yeah, probably Rando Room or something. Ow! That is the sound of a spike getting caught exactly on the tile.
Oh man. While we're watching Maligord, oh, he's gonna go for some fairies. While we're watching Maligord, Gauntlet, once again, shoutouts to our trackers, Dragon Strike and B-Links, for sticking it out with us here today and keeping track of everything for us so that we know what we are talking about. Give those guys a follow. Give all 4 of these runners a follow. Give Dr. Bobtastic a follow. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. You have been a joy to commentate with, and thank you very much for that. And if you like anything you saw here, the best way to support people involved is to give them a follow, and we'd all appreciate it very much. And of course, make sure to follow the Speed Gaming Network for all of your randomizer needs.
Yeah, shoutouts to Feasel and the whole Speed Gaming crew also for throwing all this together. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Alright, we're through the gauntlets, and we're into the, well, I don't know about easy, but slightly better part of Ganon's Tower.
Oh, yeah. These rooms are so... They're just kind of a breath of fresh air after that Lammo 2 fight.
Yeah, I can never get this, one cycle here in this room. I always miss the last guy. Sometimes
I got it yesterday, and it made me feel so good.
Yeah, I've gotten it like twice.
It's really tricky.
This room I'm okay at, though, at least.
Alright, so we move on. Yeah, Maligord gonna refill that magic. Not a bad idea, considering you're, almost out. Gonna kind of need it for this room. Though I think he theoretically had enough to do 4 lamps. So if he wanted to use lamp strats on that room.
Yeah, you only want to do that if you're forced to.
Yeah, so like, you come up without the fire rod. And lamp strats on that room are not as tricky as people think.
Now, once you've done it once or twice, it's just like any other thing.
So, one thing, you can actually reach the top right torch before the floor starts going away, if you know what you're doing. But if you don't, the hitbox on the lamp shot is longer than you think. So you can just kind of hang over the edge and light the torch.
I always do that one last because I'm pretty much guaranteed that I'll fall if I try to go there first.
The trick is to go the bottom way up instead of along the top.
Alright, and he's checking all these chests for this sword, but he's not going to find what he's looking for.
Maligord just typed in the SRL chat. Seriously though, how do I still have Master Sword? It was all I could do to keep from just typing. You could have gone to the torch.
I just saw his comment about the catfish.
Yeah, he has in fact proclaimed that the other 3 runners in this race are not cool because they did not skip catfish.
But to answer a question in chat, the next race that we are coming up is a race on Speed Gaming 2 at 3 p.m. Hahasel and Tisu 14. And then we have another one on Speed Gaming 4, Ak the Boker and Chauncey J at 4:30 p.m. And then I think some of the other ones are still being determined as to where they're going to end up.
Yep. Oh, looks like you're going to be on that 3 o'clock race as well.
Oh, am I? I have not checked the schedule recently.
I see your name right there.
Let me refresh.
It's even in asterisks.
I haven't been able to help very much the last couple of weeks, so I did apply for like everything today because I had a free day.
Yeah. I might sign up for a few more because I just found out that all of my classes were canceled today. Because apparently no one in this area knows how to drive on snow.
Yeah, we have that problem down here. Only it's tends to be ice more than snow. So
Yeah, I think it's ice, really.
the whole world shuts down. You gotta run for some bread and milk to make milk sandwiches when it snows.
Alright, so Maligord coming up against Ganon, doing the Master Sword fight. Doing a pretty good job.
Oh, it looks like mentosman went and checked for us. Fourth sword was in Rando room.
Hey. I mean, I wasn't kidding. Sorry. I mean, I called flippers on Mothula too. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and you were all about that hammer on the powder too.
Yeah, I'm learning to read this logic is the thing.
Hey, I tend to be able to pick up a few things that the seeds are putting down too. Been burned. You get burned a couple times, and you start to read the tea leaves.
Nice. I really do hope Maligord comes to talk to us. Because he seems like he would be fun to interview right now.
Alright, we are in phase 4. It's all good from here. Misses the torch glitch, but he doesn't need it. He's got a lot of magic and a lot of potions, so he's good to go. Alright, GG to Maligord. Big Pig goes down.
Alright. Yeah, so the official SRL time on that was 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 15 seconds. So congratulations to Maligord on finishing that seed. Never gives up. Not ever.
Looks like he'll be joining us soon. So I wonder where the shovel was. That was the only item that we never located. I'm guessing it has to be in GT somewhere.
Yeah, that's more than likely the case.
I guess we never got the red boomerang either.
Could have been on one of the tablets.
Oh, and the mushroom.
Shovel was indeed in GT.
Nice.
Oh, we found this shovel in GT. Cool.
Yeah, the mushroom would have been nice to have because then you could have potentially skipped the whole powder thing.
Yeah, that would have been big this seed if the mushroom showed up early and somebody did fake powder.
But
yeah,
unfortunately, no dice.
Red boomerang was inspectable rock, so I guess we saw it and didn't get it. We do know where Quake was, so we just didn't pick it up because we didn't need it. So the only thing we're missing, I guess, officially is the mushroom. Alright, so Maligord should be joining us shortly. Once again, GG to all these runners. They put on a good show for us, so give them a follow. And thanks again to Speed Gaming for putting this together. The admins are working very hard behind the scenes to keep everything flowing. And thanks to our trackers, B-Links and Dragon Strike. And stay tuned because there's plenty of Keysanity upcoming this week. Somebody linked the schedule recently, it looks like, so you can check that to see what matches are coming up, what channels they're going to be on.
And we are now joined by Maligord. Congratulations on finishing that seed.
Thank you so much.
GG.
So I got some lemon pepper and some deep fry. I think we're gonna have some deep fried catfish after this. What do you think?
Oh, I thought this was just the best seed I've ever played. This was the best seed I've ever seen. I loved it, every bit of it.
I'm sure.
No, I mean, skipping catfish. I mean, that was a conscious choice. You know, when I was going up to pod, I figured I had 13 locations in pod versus the one at catfish. I thought it was the smart play, and then the seed just kept leading me to somewhere else, and I never got back.
We were actually wondering near the end if you had maybe forgotten it when you were doing all of the things.
No, I think that was the worst decision, was going to AGA 1, but catfish was in my mind, Thieves Town was in my mind, and I just figured, I know where one big key is. I know it's there, and I'm just going to check it. Again, probably wasn't the smartest decision, but in my head at the time, it was making a little more sense.
I mean, it felt like an okay decision from your standpoint. You're like, okay, I'm looking for a big key. I know where one is. Let's go get it. But unfortunately, it just didn't turn out to be the one you were looking for.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure that more than one of us has taken the Ganon bait with the key on there and just YOLO'd it and ended up burned.
Well, the worst thing was going into Meyer and getting that second castle tower key, because that's when it became possible to do AGA 1, and that's what killed me, really.
Yeah. So, you were asking how do I still have the Master Sword at this point? And the other two swords were in Ganon's tower. One of them was on the torch.
Yeah, I would never have gone there. So it was going to be Master Sword the whole way.
Yeah. one of our runners did in fact check the first 2 chests on the right and then the torch by going, and they actually opened the door in the middle because they had an extra key just to do that. But yeah, that was about it. The other one I think was in Rando Room. Apparently, it wasn't anywhere near where you were going. But yeah, it was a very good Master Sword Ganon fight. I'll tell you that much.
That's one of those things, you know, it makes sense because it paid off. And in the end, the few seconds to check that probably saved a bunch of time on Ganon. So that was a good play.
Yeah. Now, of course, if it hadn't paid off, well, you lost a few seconds, but that's the gamble you make. So yeah, it was a well played seed, except, you know, Catfish trolled you. Basically what everybody else did was they found the flippers there at Mothula like everybody else, and then they routed Catfish on the way to Pod.
Yeah, and I guess those are bad decisions too, to dip Swamp and Ice right then. But you know,
you know what?
The whole way,
I think
Swamp, Ice, then up to Pod, and you know, Catfish was there in my mind, but you know, it just couldn't justify the one location, and it came back to bite me.
I think at that point, you had checked the graveyard ledge, right?
Yeah, I routed north Dark World pretty early.
Yeah, so everybody else was still had graveyard ledge to do, so they went graveyard ledge then Catfish because that's sort of convenient, and so it just wasn't ever convenient for you.
Yep, that's true. That with those flippers, you just pop right over and then head down. So my way in the Pod was going through Dark World, Lake Hylia, and up and around. So
only one of the runners didn't do Ice Palace without the hammer, though. So that one kind of got everybody. Which that hammer placement was kind of fun.
I was kind of hoping, I know Zarby's a good runner, and but I was just kind of hoping that he may forget that you can get to Batcave without the hammer. When I saw that, I'm like, maybe there's a chance, but no, obviously not.
You two actually picked up your hammers basically simultaneously because you both checked like everything else first before you did Pod.
So that wasn't really what killed me. Ugh. I felt I was behind the whole way after that first Swamp and Ice dip.
You were basically neck and neck getting that hammer. The only difference was Catfish. Catfish trolled you for 30 minutes.
Oh well, if you're not having fun playing the game, then no reason to play it, right?
Yeah, and I know from what I've seen from you so far, Maligord, is you like to try lots of different things with this game. Like, I've seen you do an entrance shuffle, ridiculousness, just all sorts of fun stuff. So, and I really haven't ever seen you quit. You know what I mean? You just don't seem like the kind of person to quit.
No, I never like forfeiting. That to me, that's only when you're absolutely stuck. And if Catfish wouldn't have had it, then I would have been stuck. But
I also like the extra touch with activating Catfish a second time and making the fireball happen. That was fun.
I was actually going for the bomb. I wanted to throw the bomb. I was going to pick it back up and throw it right back at him. But he threw the fireball instead.
Well, Maligord, thank you very much once again for that run. It was a joy to watch, and glad you finally got there to Catfish.
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with it. I was a little surprised that we were still live, but yeah, thanks for the restream, and you guys, Dr. Bob, I think this is like the third match of mine you've commentated. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so with that, thank you all once again. Thank you to our runners one more time. Someone32 or 325 or 3255, depending on which platform you're on. mentosman8, Maligord, and Zarby89 for their runs. Thank you to our trackers B-Links and Dragon Strike for their excellent coverage of this run. Thank you to the restreaming apparatus that Feasel's got set up. And, of course, thank you to Recidador, my co-commentator. Thank you very much for that.
And thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right, so once again, we hope you all enjoyed watching. And with that, I think it's about time to wrap things up. So with that, I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I have been Recidador.
And I'll see you later.